Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're in Bolton for the 2025 Fit Expo. Let's see what it's all about.
I reckon, how heavy is that? 50, okay. So try 7 with the close grip and then 7 others. Look in different parts of the chest by using the different handles. Using the inside handles here, we're going to focus more of the contraction on the inner chest. Not just hand position or anything else is going to do that alone though. What Maurice is likely doing here is thinking about where he's concentrating the contraction. So if you think about your inner chest squeezing together, using those inside handles, it's going to have even more of an effect. Flat bench press, machine with this kind of grip over the top, normal grip, is going to get through the centre of the pec, the midline. But again, you need to really be thinking about the intention of this exercise whilst you're doing it. So, finish with a few partials lastly. So if he chooses the neutral grip, which I think he did before, the function of the lat is to actually pull down. So that grip there would be very good for the lats. Is that what you're doing? Yeah. So very good to grow the lats. A lot of people, and when I first started training, I thought to grow the wings, the Dorito giant pose that everyone knows before, I thought I'd do lots of wide arm pull-ups and pull-downs. Essentially that's just a good stretch. To engage the lats, this motion is what you need to try and be focused on, and this is a good representation of that. And again, I would say momentum here is key to keep the muscle under tension. He's got a great range of motion, great stretch at the top, really, really good. If he was with a training partner right now, give him a little help. But again, with a spot, don't let your training partner do all the work for you. If I was spotting Maurice there, I'd want to be like using one hand. If I've got to use any more than one hand, it's too much. It's the end of the set. So by all means, continue the set and assist your training partner, but you don't want to be deadlifting over a bench press. Brilliant. Yeah, let's not, I'm standing by, let's not forget about that racking of the weights. It's a bit of a weird machine. And then if I see him struggle, I'm going to take 10 kilos off. And I think it's all about getting to the end of this. Off. Awesome, here we go. To use these outside of bodybuilding. I remember there used to be a game called Skytrack. So I imagine something like Skytrack on bikes, and you just pedal hell for leather around this track on the scene. I'm just petrified of heights, by the way, so I don't know why I'm advising myself to create a game at height, but it sounds like a lot of fun.
It does sound like a lot of fun. What is something about filming Gladiators that you think would surprise people?
It's all done in 11 days.
They do the whole series in 11 days?
The whole series is filmed in 11 days, yes. That's obviously because of time and costs. Like, we have to hire out arena, we have to have hundreds of floor staff and people who essentially are in Sheffield for 4 weeks, but the filming time is 11 days.
Oh wow. And how long after you film, like how long between filming it and when it's on TV?
So we'll film in July and then it will get aired in January. So 5 months. 4 or 5 months.
And you have to sit on all the secrets that whole time?
Of course, yeah.
Love it. So tell us about what happened with your bicep?
So, obviously I'm 39 now, 40 in August, trying to cling on to my 30s. The production thought it'd be a great idea for me to climb the wall. So 20 stone me climbing a wall, the tendons were screaming at me, and I knew that something was wrong, but I was like, get over it, you know, we've done harder things in life. Essentially, my forearms are unravelling themselves, the tendons like a rope fraying underneath. And then I went to play a game called Powerball, which is a rugby contact game. Went for a tackle, went to grab someone, and my arms extended like this, his body weight pulled away, and the bicep tendons decided to snap. So that was the 5th heat of the series, so I unfortunately missed 7 shows.
Oh, wow.
But silver lining is that when something doesn't quite go our way, self-reflection, I'm 39 years old. Maybe I shouldn't try new stuff that I'm not confident with anymore. And that's like, I want to say that in a way that explains it a little bit more, because we should all try new things, right? We should all try and push ourselves to be better, stronger and bigger and better, and set our goals high. But essentially, I know my body's not as pliable as it once was. So there's just a level of risk to climbing that wall that doesn't equate to a great response and result. So risk rewards, that one's off the radar now, where I kind of stay in my own lane, stick to my strengths in terms of the show.
Giants, or AK the Giant for bodybuilding, and then Giant for Gladiators. I am an ex-professional bodybuilder. I guess I still am a professional bodybuilder, still got like beat records, but I don't pay for it every year, there's no company. I guess you could probably guess from Lewis's description of people on the panel, but I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm a doctor. I work in the NHS as a GP, and I've sort of been on my own lifestyle change journey, so I've kind of developed a lot of thoughts about body image, mental health related to the fitness, and more specifically the fitness industry, and how fitness impacts our mental health through our body image. I'm hosting. Essentially what I do now is I work with coaches in specialising in behaviour change, so nothing to do with nutrition, nothing to do with training, anything like that, but more the psychology and mindset side of coaching.
I'm Sophia, a nutritionist and food relationship specialist, and we do work with lots of our clients on their body image, and we specialise as well in supporting coaches and work in the fitness industry. And I think it's great that a panel about body image has got some money now.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm the founder of TTTC. I coach creative parents, entrepreneurs, achievers, business owners, and my background is competitive bodybuilding. And for me, I've had a big shift in what I focus on inside my life and my values, which is probably the touch on today.
Okay, right. So I want to go straight in now. I want to talk again about mental health and body image, obviously. The links between mental health and body image. Again, open question, I don't care where we start. How much of an impact do you think a poor body image has on mental health?
I think it has a huge impact, because if somebody's struggling with their body image and the way that they feel about their body, it's more likely to hold them back from doing things that support their mental health. You know, they're more likely to maybe withdraw from social occasions, or feel like they don't have a place in the gym. There's lots of different ways that people struggle with body image, but I guess if we think about people on a fitness journey, those are the sorts of things that are more likely to be more common, right? So that's going to have an impact on.
It's just occurred to me, just by a show of hands, no one will talk about body image. Is anybody confused around what we mean when we say body image? Just, we all good, yeah? I'm just thinking, there's quite a lot of research behind it, and it can get misconstrued a lot of the time, so it might be useful to talk about what poor body image is first, but I'm going to come to you obviously.
So, body image is, like I said, it's influenced by many different things, and it's normal, even if somebody has a positive body image in general, to have negative body image days, but we have a spectrum. So, somebody could have general positive body image but just struggle from time to time, and then at the other end of the extreme, some people's body image
much. And I think it's disconnected when you want, I think that's just in general, when you want something, but you can't seem to get it, you can tend to be put off by it.
I think that like our mental health in general is so multifactorial, so dependent on so many different aspects of our lives and circumstances surrounding our lives. But I think it depends. I think it's really quite individual because it depends on how bad that body image is. Also, I think it is somewhat contingent on how realistic that body image is. Like, so if people's body image is wildly out of sync with the actual shape of their body, then I think it's likely to have a bigger impact. I think if somebody sort of recognises that they might want to change the shape of their body and as a result of that has a slightly negative image of themselves, that might also be in keeping with wanting to change it and being still quite positive about it in total. I'm not talking about kind of being ashamed of it and sort of shame making us change, but I'm talking about not, having a realistic but not particularly positive body image. And I think it's just how important that is to you. I think if someone's body image is if someone has a negative body image and their whole identity is based around, being, let's say, a bodybuilder or something like that, then I think that negative body image is going to impact them a lot more because their body image is inherently kind of wrapped up in their identity. Whereas if I have a slightly negative body image that doesn't affect my, going to work and doing my job and having most of the things that are to do with my livelihood, then I think it's not going to have as much of an impact as that.
It's actually really interesting with the research into bodybuilders, and you guys will be able to maybe have a personal insight into this, but what we see is past a certain point of leanness, so when somebody gets to pretty low levels of body fat, which we're all sold as the image of perfection and a positive body image, their body image worsens because they're body checking more, they're comparing themselves to other bodybuilders or other athletes, they're being scrutinised on their physical appearance. Like the bodybuilders out there on stage, some of them will have the worst body image you could ever imagine because they are putting their emphasis on being lean, on being smaller, and basing validation on their physique. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, that's a sport, so it's an extreme example, but it's clear to see how the more body focused somebody is, the more they are meticulously measuring changes in their body and looking to change all the time. Because we see this on the other end, especially with males with muscle dysmorphia. So muscle dysmorphia is more of a more recent condition that affects males more than females, but all genders, where people look in the mirror and they've got a healthy amount of muscle mass, but they can't see that. They think they need to be bigger and bigger and bigger. So it is a bit of a misconception that people in shape have a positive body image. Negative body image can affect everybody.
I think as well, from a competitive aspect, when I was a competitor myself and a coach, I used to have to advise certain people, certain clients not to compete because I think their relationship with their own body image was swayed way too far towards being overcritical, and that competitive aspect, as you rightly said, made them over-criticise themselves even more. So when people say training is good for your mental health, well actually, yes, that's probably right, but then competing became bad and poor for people's mental health. Essentially over time, I think I became better at handling my own expectations and the opinions of others on my body, which would at times sway my mental health. And I think that's another topic, but essentially not being bothered by what other people's perception of me and my body image was,